So welcome everyone for today's Bhakti Shastri class. So we are again starting with our sloka recitation. कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेत यश्रेयः स्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं साधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे भोगैश्वर्यप्रसक्तानां तयापहृतचेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धिः समाधो न विधीयते प्रकृतेः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहङ्कार विमूढात्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकालनेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय सम्भवामि युगे युगे जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नयति मामेतु अर्जुन तद्विद्धि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षयन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्य अन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधा भोक्तारं यज्ञतपसां सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं सुहृदं सर्वभूतानां ज्ञात्वा मां शान्तिमृच्छति योगीनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। So till which shloka we covered it last time? Anyone remembers?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I think it was 26.
कौन सा?
26, 26.
26. Okay, some points from all the audience here. What we learned last time. Some points. Yes, Mataji.
We talked about the Nishkam Karma Yoga and the karma done for Yagya in the Dharma. So we talked about the shlokas from 3.13 to 3.26, I think. And here, Lord tells about all about the Nishkam Karma Yoga, how the Yagya is to be performed and how it is important. The regulated activities which are given in the Vedas, and the Vedas are also coming from the Narayana. So we should follow all these regulative principles. The four Vedas are coming from breathing of the Krishna, that is Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, and Atharvaved. So anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is basically a vikarma, and which is considered as unauthorized work or a sinful work. If someone who wants to do sense gratification also should do yagya. So Lord also tells about all these Nishkam Karma Yoga, and all obligations are coming from the body. So uh, means we should not do any activities with the attachment of results. We should go for Nishkam Karma Yoga unless and we talked about some political things like how the king should be, and if the king is good one, then how all the people follow him and all those things.
Okay, many good points. Very nice. Yes. Anish Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I remember this one verse which is very famous that Annat Bhavanti like Bhutani Parjanyat Anna Sambhavat and all Yajnat Bhavati Parjanyo and Yajna is born out of one's own karma. And this karma shouldn't be something whimsical like today's people are doing. They're saying that anything is their karma, but it should be Shastric according to the Varnashram Dharma. And Krishna also talks about in this section about how I think Yadyad Acharite Shrestha we discussed. Uh, huh. So how great people, whatever they do, the common men should follow. So they should set a good example.
Yes, very nice. Good points. Yes, Mahadev Keshav Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhupada is also explaining that the human form of life is meant for the yajna. And who is a yajna? It's like Vishnu, we have to do the perform the yajna for the Vishnu. And Prabhupada also mentioning that in Krishna consciousness, Sravanam, Kirtanam, this Navavida Bhakti means we should be focused on this type of yajna, like Nama Sankirtan. By performing this Nama Sankirtan, we can satisfy also Vishnu, and ultimately the demigods are the different parts of the Lord's Vishnu, and they are automatically they get satisfied. These things explain means we saw, and another uh, you also told that the one example that some means the king should be like empowered by this Krishna, then everything will be the means that is empowerment happens, then there's a lot of change will happen in the currently society. But now there is no king, and that's why we are. It's like the empowerment from the lords. Whatever we do, prachar little, but lords give the some empowerment to the some soul that will do the very much vast preaching.
Yes, yes, correct. So kings, they are reformer, and Brahmanas, or they try to transcend the world, and king, they try to reform the world. Kshatriyas, on the principle of the Vedic literature, because they have the power. So Prabhupada himself said that if you want to preach to masses, then we have to adopt Varnashrama, because we are selecting few people and making them Brahmanas directly. But if you want to penetrate in the masses and give Krishna consciousness to each and every one, like it's not only Brahmanas were Krishna conscious, but Sudras also, why Chandalas also, they were also Krishna conscious. In the sense, they were indirectly Krishna conscious in the Varnashram system. They were offering their fruits to Supreme Lord. That is called Yagya. So our is now pure devotion service, direct process. So direct process many may not come. So then some bridge has to be made for them also, because now other processes in the Vedas, that path has been closed. Now karma kanda process is not there. First the Vedas are only not there, and at the same time the practitioners of such principles, the yajman, they may desire to get so many benefits from Vedic yagyas, but who is going to conduct those yagyas? Those brahmanas are not there who can chant properly. The ingredients are not pure, the time is not understood, the rituals are not understood properly. So many dosas are there. So therefore such processes cannot be executed in this age. So for then people, if they want some material benefits, so one thing is sure, that they have to chant the holy name, because holy name says, it says in Brahma Naradiya Puran that Harir Nam Harir Nam Harir Nam eva kevalam kalav nastev 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 gatiranyata. So whatever imperfection is given by this Kali Yuga, it will be finished, or it will be eradicated by chanting of holy name. So even while doing any yagya, some imperfection will be there. So by chanting of holy name, this will be finished. So this is the thing actually.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, the shloka number was 16, not 26 that we covered last time. Sorry.
Okay, okay. So yes, so like that. So for mass preaching, we have to include worldly dharma also, based upon Krishna consciousness. Right now is only Krishna consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness. and slowly the worldly dharma also has to be included, based upon Krishna consciousness. So that people, again, we don't say that to establish the devatas worship and other thing, no, because Krishna consciousness itself means if you know Krishna, uh, if you serve Krishna, so Krishna is the father of all dharma, and wherever there is Krishna consciousness, there cannot be any adharma. But in case of demigods, there can be adharma even though their worships are there. So Krishna consciousness can pervade whole world. So like that, it is possible. So we also read that demigod worship is for those people who do not understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or they cannot be introduced so quickly because Vedic processes in previous time were practiced by people, and people were quite qualified to practice those rituals. But now people are not qualified, they are below Sudras or Sudras. So therefore, for them the only process is to chant the holy name, and whatever extra we have to gain even by chanting and then purifying ourselves has to be also taken through Krishna consciousness only, because Kali Yuga, Krishna consciousness can only destroy this ill effects of Kali. Prabhupada in 9th canto he says, when Parikshit Maharaj was hearing from Sukadeva Goswami about Lord Ramachandra's activity. So therefore he mentions there that if earlier during Lord Ramachandra time, people were following Varnashrama principle very nicely, in a very expert way, and they were living like a Satyuga. In Treta Yuga there was Satyuga because of presence of Lord Ram, and nobody would die untimely. Even it is said that no disease would happen to the people in Ayodhya, no disease. किसी कोई बीमारी नहीं पड़ता था. So like that actually, no disease was there, no problem, no natural calamity, no problem from other living beings or one's body itself, no problem, because he was so pure Lord, and as well as his praja was so obedient, subservient to the Lord's laws as well as to him. So Prabhupada mentions there that in the similar way, if people in this age follow the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then the same Satyuga can also be expected in Kali Yuga. It is possible. So basically the religion or Hare Krishna movement has the chanting of holy name offenselessly. If somebody hears this offenseless chanting from the mouth of a devotee, then Kirat, Hunandr, Pulind, Pulkasa, Abhir, Sambha, Yavana, Khasa, all kinds of sinful people, low graded people, they all will be delivered if they hear offenseless chanting of a devotee. So this offenseless chanting, the more it increases, the more it will bring about the change in civilization actually. The polluted consciousness of civilization will gradually change. And then the new civilization will dawn, because people work according to their thinking, work according to their consciousness. So therefore consciousness, our movement name is Krishna consciousness. So we were discussing how the Vedas are coming from the breathing of Narayan. Karma brahmodbhava vidhyam brahma akshara samudbhavam tasma sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. So Krishna, after telling that how yajna is so important for every human being in this world, even the meat eaters has to do yajna because their animals are eating the grasses and the water they are taking, and they are also eating some good crops. So these all things are coming from the demigods. So demigods are responsible for growing the necessities in this world, keeping it so that humans can live peacefully. So without giving them tax and directly taking from them without knowing their importance, then istena eva saha, we are thief. So Krishna says that do not think that these yagyas are coming from my mind or somebody's mind. This is directly coming from Brahma, means the scriptures. Sabda Brahma is scriptures. like that. And from where this Brahma or Sabda Brahma is coming, it is also coming from Akshara. Akshara means Supreme Personality of Godhead. Adokshaja, he is coming from Adokshaja. So Akshara Samudbhavam. Therefore, Tasmat Sarva Gatam Brahma Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. Therefore, everything again combines with this transcendence. If somebody follows the yagyas, if somebody follows his activity given in the Vedas, then that will become yagya. Then yagya will give the necessities. Necessity will be taken by people. Then they will again do yagya, again do all karma and yagya. Like that, the whole cycle will be followed. Okay, done. So I think we have gone ahead. I don't know, but 17 shloka will discuss. So this part, 17 shloka onward till 35, Niskam Karma Yoga one should do to set an example.
More actually, even I have noted down 26 shloka, so I'm not sure if it was 17th or 25th. 26th.
No. It would be not 17. It would be more on.
So,
Yeah.
yes, so 20, I think 25 we completed, I guess.
Actually, this thing we discussed ना. अनुकरण अनुसरण डिस्कस किया था ना.
Yes.
प्रभु जी जनक महाराज का एग्जाम्पल वगैरह सब
हाँ, ये सब किया था हमने. ठीक है. Yes, we were here. Sakta, asakta. This also we discussed. Yes, sakta means attached. Asakta means non-attached. So, as the ignorant perform their duties with attachment, learned men similarly act without attachment. This also we discussed last time. Okay, so 26th. 26th we'll discuss. So, okay, Prabhu, which Prabhu, who Prabhu will, Doctor, okay, no, I will give somebody else. Avinash Prabhu is there. Avinash Prabhu. Avinash Prabhu is not there. Pratik Prabhu is there. Pratik Prabhu. Pratik Kumar. Not there. Ashish Prabhu is there.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, true, I'm there, but my specs is not there. That's why I won't be able to.
Who is there?
Probably there are two Ashish.
Okay, Ashish Prabhu.
True, my specs is not there today. I'll
Ah.
be wearing specs from next session. So then I'll read.
कौन अविनाश प्रभु है आशीष प्रभु है ना ओके आशीष प्रभु नॉट देयर ओके ठीक है योर स्पेक्स आर नॉट देयर ठीक है who else
I'll read.
what is
Ashish
your
Tiwari.
yes okay Ashish Tiwari you can read
Hmm.
न बुद्धिभेदम जनयेद अज्ञानम कर्म संगिनाम जोषयेत् सर्वकर्माणि विद्वान् युक्तः समाचरन्.
So as not to disrupt the mind of ignorant men attached to the fruitive results of prescribed duties, a learned person should not induce them to stop work. Rather, by working in spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sort of activities at a gradual development of Krishna consciousness.
So this is a section where we are discussing in preaching part. Why one should do one's activity, not only for one's maintenance. In 3rd chapter also we have heard that there Krishna says that sarira cha yatrapi, to maintain your body also you have to work. But that is not the highest inspiration or impetus for us to do work. Because devotees, they understand anyway they will not be lazy. This is not instruction for devotee. Devotee should not be lazy. Correct? Now, what should be the another reason for which a person should work? If he is not attached to result, then he should work to set an example. So this is what Krishna is mentioning. This whole section, Niskam Karma Yoga, to set right example. It is so much important actually. So now here it's mentioned कि somebody is already an ignorant person and he is attached to fruitive activities, but he is doing his prescribed duty. But a learned man who is not attached to fruitive activities or the result of fruitive activity, that person should not disturb him. Or don't induce him to stop his work. Rather, by working in a spirit of devotion, he should engage them in a sort of activities. It means very simple understanding. Like in Krishna consciousness, we can give. Like somebody is very much attached to eating prasadam, very greedy, always going to Rajbhog and eating. अच्छे अच्छे रसगुल्ला खाएंगे, समोसा खाएंगे, and very hatta katta devotee. So somebody can say, Prabhu, what is this? This is not good. This is a greed. So he also understands because he is hearing from many devotees, but he is not able to control his senses. So for him, the first method which Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives, that to tell him while he is eating, he should have devotional mindset, that it is a prasad, and chant the prayer that Mahaprasade Govinde Nam Brahmane Vaishnave. So that is very, very important prayer. Many times we take prasad immediately put inside mouth. That should not be done. That we should recite Sarira Vidya Jar Darindriyata Hekar Jeev Phaile Visay Sagar. That I am controlled by my senses, but Krishna is merciful. Krishna is giving this prasadam to liberate me, to purify my senses. So when one remembers this, then he, out of gratitude, he takes that food. And that consciousness, see, Arjuna is also fighting, and normal men also fight. Okay, but what's the difference? Consciousness. Arjuna is fighting for higher purpose. In a similar way, when we understand that Acharya has given us prayer, Shastras has given us prayers, in that mood I should honor prasad, even though I have some material desire, no issue. But if the consciousness is purified before doing our action, so then what happens? We don't become bound by our fruits of our action. Slowly, we may become free from such actions. And Prabhupada says also that by eating prasadam, we read that one becomes free from all contamination of material life. Whatever previous sinful actions we might have done, that reaction will also not affect us when we eat prasadam. So rather, by working in a spirit of devotion, he should engage them in all sorts of activities. So he should inspire that person that how you should engage the result of your activity in Krishna consciousness, and never tell him to stop his activity. Stop नहीं बोलना है, उसको बोलना है करते रहो, भगवान को जोड़ते रहो, भगवान के साथ जोड़ो और करते रहो. Do your activity and connect with Krishna. So So Prabhupada says that Krishna is the goal of all Vedic rituals, and all the Vedic sacrifices, everything has to be done to satisfy Krishna. Vedesha sarve ahame vedya. But because conditioned souls, they do not know this, and so, but through fruitive activities and sense gratification regulated by Vedic rituals, one is gradually elevated to Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a realized soul in the Krishna consciousness should not disturb others in their activities or understanding. Okay. The learned Krishna conscious person may act in such a way that ignorant person working for sense may learn how to act. The same thing Prabhupada is saying. Like somebody is worshipping demigod. So what a devotee should do? Somebody is worshipping demigod. Oh, give up your demigod worship. What you are doing? Demigods are only meant for less intelligent people, or those who do not know about Krishna. So I will explain to you about Krishna, and after my explanation, give up your worship. No, you should not do that. You should not do that, because his faith is not built till now. So let him worship demigod and let him worship Krishna together. Let him do both. Let him chant holy name and let him do his fruitive activity, what he is doing. Slowly, he will also inquire more, because if he is hearing more about Krishna consciousness, he will also inquire more. That is it important to do all this thing? Then we can tell little, like how your family will react, how your people will react if you change So then he has to admit all such differences which will come about in future. If he says that no, I cannot handle making so much change in myself, so then we should tell, okay, don't worry, just continue chanting, continue hearing, and continue your other activity together, no issue. So like that. So Krishna consciousness, it will itself purify him after certain time. Do not worry about it. But many times what happens actually, sometimes people that they ask question like big people, like what I have to do, tell me this 5 things, and when it comes to following they don't follow, and then they say that their mentor has taught so many big things, and now they put all blame on mentor only later कि mentor ने पढ़ाया उसको और उसके कारण से उसने ये छोड़ दिया वो छोड़ दिया और वो प्रॉब्लम में फंस गया. Like it happens with many people, those who take to bhakti, especially in our youth preaching also. So because most of the parents, those who are non-devotees, they are very much fearful if their children or their sons or daughter are caught by some devotee. Very fearful, because they think that we may not know about the daughters, but we may surely know about the son, that these sons will become brahmacharis, or they will give up all their inclination to sense gratification and then become Babaji, like that. So then, and these sons who take to bhakti, they directly start preaching immediately to their parents. Arey, you all are, what you are doing, are sense gratifier. They directly tell to the parents only. Whom you are worshipping Devata. Who is this Devata? You should worship Krishna. You should eat prasad. And I think almost every one of us have done this mistake to more or less, to greater or lesser extent we have done. And it is like that actually. Nobody can say we have not done. Even I have also done. Everybody has done. Because Krishna consciousness generally it removes all ignorance, and when we see somewhere ignorance, somebody is following ignorance, and that is our own attached people, our mother and father, so then we want to bring them to devotional service as early possible. आज तुरंत तुम भी भक्ति करो, हम सब भक्ति करेंगे, निकलेंगे साथ में, back home, back to Godhead. ऐसा. But this does not happen actually. After some time we start realizing they become obstacle to our path of bhakti. And then the second way a devotee applies is to speak lie. Parents ask, किधर गया है? कहाँ है? अभी कॉलेज में हूँ मैं. वो कैंप में गया है. इस उत्कर्षा कैंप में गया है, स्फूर्ति कैंप में गया है. बट क्या बोलता है मम्मी पापा को? अरे कॉलेज में हूँ, फ्रेंड्स के साथ हूँ मैं. He speaks lie because he has to cultivate bhakti. He cannot speak truth, so the truth cannot be heard by the parents. So therefore he has to speak lie, because Krishna consciousness is more important. Now it is more important for himself, not for parents. Parents have to just hear that, oh, my son is in good situation, he is obeying all our instructions and nicely studying, we are happy. So such persons should not be disturbed, as mentioned here. Many times they may try to be obstacle, then we have to intelligently work. What to speak to them, how much to speak to them, how to speak to them, everything needs some training. Otherwise many times it disrupts, everything becomes disrupted. At the same time, if some devotee is very faithful, then Krishna also helps him. He has to go through certain problems surely. And nobody has, Prabhupada clearly mentions it. In beginning, anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness, Maya puts many troubles in his life, in his or her life, many troubles. Maya will purposefully put, because Maya wants to make sure this person should not disturb Krishna, but should be serious to serve Krishna. Service in the beginning requires our enthusiasm, our confidence to remove all obstacles and then commit to Krishna. It does not happen so easily. It requires our faith. And for faith to awaken, one has to hear constantly. One has to be always praying to Krishna constantly. Then that is awakened actually. Krishna consciousness advancement is basically is based upon our constant eagerness and seriousness to surrender to Krishna and his message actually. It is very important. So some people very quickly they take up, and some people take a lot of time. So accordingly we have to guide them. is mentioned here. Or later Prabhupada is mentioning, later we will also read that. Krishna again says that don't disturb this person. Prabhupada says that devotees, they always try to engage that person in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna may say many times, but devotees, they are more merciful to than Krishna. So now the another question is, who is so much attached, who is so much orthodox, that I will only follow my own parampara? First ask who is the parampara. Like one lady, she was a Vedantist. Means she had done Vedanta, philosophy, Advaita Vada. She had done PhD. So I asked her, so she had come for a class. So I asked her, so did you like the class? So she said, yes, I like the class. So then I asked, don't you believe that God should have a form? Then she said, yeah, God should have form. So then I was thinking, in Advaita philosophy, it is said God has no form. So basically, even though they learn also PhD, they are not very much deep rooted in that Mayavad conception. They are simply doing some academic education. It's not more like a faith or a spiritual education. It's more like academic education. Okay. Okay, next. See, he should not disturb the mind of those fixed in karma by saying, what is the use of this duty? Attain success just by jnana, like me. Rather, engaging him in all the prescribed actions, attentively performing all the components or the angas till completion, samacharam. He should engage the ignorant with the affection in all the duties prescribed by the scriptures. See, here, I think Bismarck Chakravarti Thakur is saying, there can be one understanding that, okay, you give up all activity, just situate in Gyan. So here nobody is saying, going to say in today's time. We can only say that you take up to bhakti. So here the same thing is spoken. We can just tell whatever activity you are doing, just do it in connection with Krishna. That is what is mentioned here. You should engage the ignorant with affection in all the duty prescribed by the scripture. If he disturbs their intelligence, then they will lose the faith in performing duty and also will not attain jnana. So this is one thing, don't disturb. Other thing is to show yourself that how I am also working in company, but I am still a devotee. I am also living a happy life, and some components of bhakti can be shared to them if they are accepting it. Like many times people ask in company how to preach. So simple preaching in company is to give them prasadam. First begin with prasadam. If they eat prasadam every day, you have to spend money for that. So those are working. So spend money and feed them prasadam. After some days, some months, some years may also happen, but they will surely change. Actually, it will happen. And some people are become eager to hear from us. So then we can explain. So here it's mentioned, let them be engaged in the prescribed duty, and slowly they will attain jnana. But now problem is nobody is engaged in prescribed duty because they do not know what is that. So better to just address them with some part of Krishna consciousness. A pure devotee who is fully accomplished in science of devotion service will never instruct a foolish man to engage in fruitive activity for material enjoyment, not to speak of helping him in such activity. Such a devotee is like an experienced physician who never encourages a patient to eat food injurious to health, even if patient desires it. This statement of Ajita, however, should be applied to those persons who are not attached to karma. See, clearly mentioned. This statement says pure devotee will never encourage for fruitive activity. But then Acharya says this statement of Ajita, the Lord, should be applied to those persons who are not attached to karma. They are beyond karma. For them, you should explain this thing, not for those who are attached to karma. It means people should be given some activities, they must be engaged. Prakrite kriyamanani guneh karmani sarvasah ahankar vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. Yes.
The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that they are actually carried out by these three modes of material nature.
Yes. If you can read this part.
Yeah. Two person, one in Krishna consciousness and the other in material consciousness, working on the same level, may appear to be working on the same platform, but there is a wide gulf of difference in their respective positions. The person in material consciousness is convinced by false ego that he is the doer of everything. He does not know that the mechanism of the body is produced by material nature, which works under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. The, the materialistic person who has no knowledge that ultimately he is under the control of Krishna, the person in false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently. And that is the symptom of his designs. He does not know that this gross and subtle body is the creation of material nature under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and as such, his bodily and mental activities should be engaged in the service of Krishna, in Krishna consciousness. The ignorant man forgets that Supreme Personality of Godhead is known as Rishikesha, or the master of sense of material body. For due to his long misuse of the senses in the sense gratification, he is factually bewildered by false ego, which makes him forget his eternal relationship with Krishna.
Okay. So this verse is very very famous verse, which clearly mentions that who is the doer in this material world. Prakrite kriyamanani gunah karmani sarvasaha. So who is the doer? Prakriti is the doer. So later in the chapters, even Krishna is also a doer, but he is a different kind of doer. We'll learn. So in any activities to complete, 5 factors are there. So what are those? First thing, adhishthanam, means the body, the environment. The environment, the body has to be there. The human body. If I have to study scriptures, first thing I need to have a human body. I cannot study in a dog's body. So adhishthanam should be there. Second thing, then the senses should be there. Senses means what? Means I should have intelligence to understand Sanskrit. If I have to study, or I should be able to learn Sanskrit. So that senses, that intelligence, that talents I should be able to have, skills. The third thing comes is endeavor. I should be eager to make such endeavor, cheshta. चेष्टा होना चाहिए. Then the fourth thing comes is the Atma, the soul itself, because soul is there. Unless the body is alive, how can this all happen? Soul has to be there in the body. And the fifth is Paramatma, or you can say Daiva, your destiny. So previous reactions of our work should also be favorable for our action in this life, so that we can get the result. Yes, otherwise we will get the opposite result. So these 5 things, if you find Atma, Paramatma, and this body, senses and cheshta. Body, senses, cheshta. These 3 things, I think adhishthanam, karanam, kritatve. These 3 things. Adhishthanam, karanam, kritatve. These 3 things are belonging to material nature actually. And then Atma is spiritual and Paramatma also is spiritual. Like that. So Paramatma, because he only gives the destiny, at what time which destiny will come. So therefore he is sender of the destiny in our life. So then 3 parts are done by material nature and 2 parts these spiritual people are doing. Okay. So now Atma, he only desires, he never acts. Because Atma can only act with his spiritual senses. Right now he is sleeping, so he is only desiring that I am Amit. I live in this family. I have done this degree, education degree. I have this job. So he is only desiring, or he is simply dreaming. You can say in this material body, having the identity of material body, he is dreaming like that. So he is not active actually. He's not working with his mind and means with his hands or with his legs. He's not working. He's just dreaming actually. And then material nature is hearing those dreams, and then she is asking Paramatma, now he is desiring to eat Rasgulla, what I should do? So then Paramatma say, okay, according to his destiny, he can eat Rasgulla. Allow him. So then material nature will move the hands and legs according to desire of Atma and take him to the shop where he can eat Rasgulla. So material nature is facilitating our activity in this world according to our desires permitted by super soul. So therefore is said Prakriti Kriyamanani. So when our hands and legs are moving, whatever actions we are doing, we should understand who is doing, Prakriti is doing. You are not doing. But another thing is, like if somebody says, oh, rickshaw wala come here. Okay, he came. Okay, I have to go to Katraj. Okay, Katraj. Then you sit in the rickshaw and go to Katraj. And then you get down from rickshaw and then say, okay, go now. अरे पैसे तो दे दो. पैसे क्यों? You just drove me. I did not drive, na. I did not drive the vehicle. You drove me. But you sat behind, therefore I did not do any action. I simply desired to sit in your auto and you took me. So you did action. Why I should pay? Then वो अब बोलेगा पागल हो गया क्या? तो उसी तरीके से जीवात्मा is not working. He is desiring, but material nature is bringing the rickshaw of this body. Okay, where you have to go? चलो इधर चलो. And then you have to pay. Means you have to suffer or enjoy your action. You are not doing, but because you are sitting in this rickshaw and this material nature is taking here and there and you are engaging her, so therefore you have to pay. You cannot say अरे मैं तो चुपचाप बैठा हूँ. आप भले खराटे मारोगे कुछ भी करो, रिक्शे में आपको पैसा भरना पड़ेगा क्योंकि आप रिक्शे में बैठे हो और आपके डिजायर से कर्म हो रहा है. Okay, so like that. And the government who has given the rickshaw to this rickshaw wala, he will also take the charge from rickshaw wala, जो भी है उसका टैक्स लेगा. या the government, or you can say the Paramatma, he is also active force there because he has allowed the whole system. The road should be there, rickshaw should go in this direction, whatever the municipality. So they are arranging the whole system for you to enjoy in this world. Who? Paramatma. So factually if you see who is seen to be doer is a Prakriti. रिक्शे वाला ही मूव कर रहा है, गवर्नमेंट भी छिपा हुआ है और हम भी डिजायर ही कर रहे हैं केवल, तो रिक्शा वाला ही काम कर रहा है. So therefore it's mentioned the Prakriti is a doer. So it is very much important when we get success, like I got good rank. Now I only desire to have good rank. I only desire to practice solving my papers. I only desired that I should get a good teacher or whatever. But I only desired, I never worked for it. Working was done through material nature. According to my destiny, also like that. So therefore, you find the whole success goes to them actually. Success goes to them. It means what? The Prakriti is doing and Prakriti should enjoy. Prakriti should take the whole credit, which Prabhupada is saying here. They think that because they do not know that whole material nature has been created by the Lord, and they take the credit that I am the doer, I am the. See, Prabhupada says that the person in the false ego takes all credit for doing everything independently, and this is a symptom of nescience. So the fact that one is in nescience or in agyanta, it means he takes himself as a body. I am this body, and through this body I have done the work. But the concept only is wrong. You are not a body, and you are not doing the work also. You are only desiring to do the work. Now, if you change your desire to serve Krishna through the same work, okay, I will cook and I will offer to Krishna. You are desiring right now also, but desire is added with serving Krishna. Now Maya will help our hands and everything to cook and then offer to Krishna. Now this activity will liberate the soul. Yes. So anyway we have to desire and the activity has to be done. So better designer. So therefore Prabhupada says you have to change the quality of your desire. So therefore in this world one has to always see that Maya is active. The three modes are moving this world here and there, and because of my false ego I am thinking that I am moving the world. I am winning the cricket match. I am the man of the match. I am the I am a heroine. I am a hero in Bollywood, Hollywood, or I am a great performer. I am an intelligent man, intelligent woman, like that. So all these are basically done on the basis of false ego, that I am this body. If this bodily concept is only removed, then a person sees everything separate from body. अरे like you see रिक्शा वाला is taking you don't say ओ रिक्शा इतना तेज भागा, मैंने चलाया रिक्शा, आपने थोड़ी चलाया, उसने चलाया रिक्शा. रिक्शा तेज भागा, आपको मजा जरूर आया बैठे बैठे, रिक्शा बहुत तेज भाग रहा है, यू रीच इट ऑन टाइम, बट रिक्शा भाग रहा है, आप नहीं भगा रहे उसको. So this difference has to be seen between us and material nature while we act in this world. This is what said here. Ahankar vimudhatma karta hamiti manyate. So why he takes credit? Because by taking credit he will enjoy. He will think himself, I am a bhokta, I am a karta. So this is the only we want to enjoy, na? That I am a karta and bhokta. So I am the doer and I am an enjoyer. And this false ego helps us to identify like that, and therefore we enjoy. So the whole concept of conditioned soul is fulfilled through false ego in this world. The false ego basically connects us to the ignorance. It connects us to the ignorance that we are this body, and this body, I am this body, and so whatever activity, whatever success, whatever prosperity is there, everything is for me, and I am the doer, I am enjoyer, like that. So this is very, very important actually. So this false ego is trapping us. The doubt may arise how to distinguish a person in knowledge from the ignorant. If the man is in knowledge also performs action, two words explain the difference. The ignorant man thinks that he is a performer of actions, while they actually performed completely by material senses, which in turn are the products of gunas. Just see. Sometimes it happens that people, even devotees say, book distribution, somebody's name was forgotten or somebody's name was misspelled. So then the devotee said, "Arey, tumne kya bola?" Like one name was Govind Prabhu, and then somebody said Govind Mataji. So then he was offended, and he was saying later, "Arey, what is this? How?" So this is one thing. Somebody spoke Mataji or Prabhuji. Somebody forgot the name. That is more offense, greater offense. So actually, this is again done by Prakriti. So we can take credit, like Prabhupada said. What was the credit for Prabhupada? My only credit is that I have not changed the words of Bhagavad Gita, or I have given the same message what my Gurudev or Parampara is giving. So in a similar way, only credit we can take if we have a proper desire, that I have desire to serve Krishna. But service, everything is done through material nature. Everything is done. सब वही हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है. तो उसका credit हम नहीं लेंगे, but I have desired rightly so that the things are happening in the good way. So all of us should gain the right knowledge, right consciousness, and while working we should have be in good consciousness. So that can be our credit. The soul is in the right consciousness, and then again it goes to Guru because he has given that consciousness to us through knowledge. So then again credit goes to Guru. So rather than taking the credit in the false sense, taking the credit of success which is done by Maya, or even doing the right thing in Krishna consciousness and then taking the credit to ourselves, which is again done through the Krishna and Guru, both are again, we are trapped. So we should always try to give credit to the benefactors, who is Krishna or Guru, or even material nature. Material nature is basically the doer here. So all things are done by the material nature. As a human being, free will and responsibility of Jiva never disappears in spite of karma and desire. However, his actions can only be performed only along with Prakriti in the form of body, sense, pranas and the consent of the Lord. How the Jiva can conquer over the influence of karma and Swabhava is discussed at the end of this chapter. Okay. This is will. So here he says, Acharya says that the will, free will and responsibility of Jiva never disappears. So his free will always be there to choose what to be done, and responsibility will also come, because he has desired means responsibility will be there. In spite of karma and desire. So even though the karma somebody else may do, but again responsibility lies with him. Karya karanam kritatve hetu prakriti ruchyate. This will come in 13th chapter. Prakriti as a doer through the body and senses, but it is not possible to consider that Prakriti is only doer, because one must accept the Prakriti comes into action by the contact with the Lord. So that will lead later. Even Lord, as I mentioned, that Riksawal example says, so Lord has done the background management for Prakriti to work, and also giving the sanctioning of for work. तत्त्ववित्तु महाबाहो गुणकर्म विभागयो गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते.
One who is in knowledge of absolute truth, O mighty arm, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification, knowing well the differences between work in devotion and work for fruitive results.
See, very clearly mentioned, one who is in knowledge of absolute truth, he does not engage himself in the sense and sense gratification. It means one has to be in knowledge of absolute truth. Why he does not engage is because knowing well the difference between the work in devotion and work for fruitive result. So he knows clearly there is a difference. So why somebody is working in fruitive activity? Why he is doing? Because he is prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sir. He is in ahankara. Just
You are in mute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So yeah. So mighty Arjuna. Okay. So difference. So one who is in this consciousness that I am the doer, he is wanting the result of his action. That is called work for fruitive result. अच्छा, somebody can think वो पहले वाला जो वर्स आया था कि don't disturb that person who is doing fruitive activity. Then next shloka came prakriti kriyamanani. That's why next shloka came. Why? Because Krishna is saying actually that person is in ignorance who is working for fruits. And what is that ignorance? Because he is thinking that he is a doer. But who is a doer? Prakriti is a doer. And then Krishna is saying that those who know about the absolute truth, they should not work for result actually. That is what Krishna is mentioning. They should work in devotion. This is the whole connection. So who work for fruitive result? Who basically think that he is a doer and he wants to enjoy. So first comes a doer. मैं करता हूँ तो फिर भोगता भी होऊंगा. I have done, then I should enjoy. Therefore, people in this world work very hard to make this feeling happen that I am the doer, I am the doer, I am a doer. Now, if somebody else has come number one rank, just imagine somebody else, we are not so much impressed. I should come number one rank, then I am very impressed. Like that. See, Prakriti has very unique nature to work. Just by bodily connection, Prakriti makes the feeling appear to be very factual. Like example, Prabhupada also gave this example, like sons and daughters in the family. So why, if somebody else house something happens to some boy or girl, we are not very much worried or not very much affected. But when same thing happens to our son and daughter, very much affected. Why? Because they are connected to our body. Yes. So if you see the terms from the spiritual perspective, the soul is there everywhere in the other bodies also, and the soul cannot be affected. Yes, so if we are in knowledge, then we should not be affected at any time, according to Bhagavad Gita. Yes, we can have certain lamentation that can be there, but internally we are not disturbed. But When we are not in that knowledge, so then what happens? In other family, if it is happening, it may not affect. But in my family, if it is happening, it is affecting. It means again, we are in bodily consciousness. Actually, we become affected by the this ego that I am this body and this person belongs to me, and something has happened to that person, so therefore I am affected. So this is the thing is mentioned to work in devotion. Therefore, Srivas Thakur is a very advanced devotee. When his son died, and when Mahaprabhu was doing kirtan in Srivasangan, he said to his wife and others, "If you cry and if you shout more, then I will. The next person to be dead is myself. I will go to Ganga and dip myself there because you are disturbing into the kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please keep quiet. No sound should come out of this room. I will close the door. Jitna rona andar ho." So he was so much like in relationship with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Surely we cannot imitate this thing, but just understand this thing here. The one who is in knowledge of the absolute truth is not affected. He is not working for fruitive results. He is working for devotional service. All work is offered to Krishna and results also. So like that. So Tattvavit. So what Krishna word use? Tattvavittu Mahabaho. What is Tattvavit in Bhagavatam? Badanti tattva tattvavidas tattvam yad jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaneti sabdyate. Who is the Tattvavit? Tattva means जो किसको तत्व पता है. तत्व किसको पता है? तत्व means this. Bhagwan, Paramatma, Brahman. This all. This is Tattva. So absolute personality or absolute truth is understood in three aspects. Absolute truth is a Brahman, absolute truth is a Paramatma, absolute truth is a Bhagwan. So when you know about the absolute truth, Param Satya, then you will also know the expansions coming from the Param Satya, like material nature, spiritual nature, the Jiva, all are coming from the Supreme Lord. So Param Satya, if somebody knows, he knows the absolute truth and he does not get entangled in the relative truth of this world because he is conversant with the absolute truth. So iti matvana sajyate, he does not become attached. With what? Guna guneshu vartanta. So basically all the guna means these all are done by basically what? Material nature. Gunas or the senses, whatever senses, body, whatever you say. So these all are done by the material nature, but who does not get attached? Na sajjate, who is a tattvavittu. Tattvavittu person does not get attached. He clearly understand everything is done by material nature. So the Prabhupada says here, yes.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Prabhuji, I had one question. Can you scroll up if possible? Prabhuji, here we see Prabhupada has written work with devotion, but nothing like that is in the shloka. So many people accuse that in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada has added devotional service everywhere. So how can we understand this, Prabhuji?
Okay. Sometime what happens? Some things are talked in context with previous slokas. So what is going on discussion here? Niskam Karma Yoga, correct? So then if a person comes and reads this sloka only and it does not go to previous sloka, then Prabhupada clearly mentions that work in devotion. So Prabhupada does not keeps ambiguity here. Clearly defines because it purport also. If he does not find devotion here, you will find here also. In purport you will find also. So Prabhupada he thinks that okay, if not purport, then at least in translation I should touch him. So yes, this is about when you say the karma, guna karma vibhagayo, that everything has been guna and karma has been vibhagayo. We say that same thing, chaturvarna maya sashtam guna karma vibhagasa. There also chaturvarna maya sashtam guna karma vibhagasa. 4 varnas are according to guna and karma. Okay, so according to quality and the work. But these all gunas and karmas are coming from what? These are coming from material nature, na? If I am in Satuguna, then Satuguna quality will come, and then I will work according to Satuguna. So then Krishna is saying ki if somebody knows about this, then it does not get entangled in guna guneshu. and this verse is connected with the previous, as I mentioned. Those were, you just go to verse before here one, ये वाला ना बुद्धि भेदम जनयेद ज्ञानम कर्म संगिनम. Okay, so कर्म संगिनम one attached to the fruitive activity. Vidyan yuktah samacharan. So which person should not disturb the person who is karma sanginam? Vidwan yukta, a vidwan person, a learned person who works without desiring the result of his actions. He should not disturb a person who is doing his action with the desire for result. So vidwan and karma sanginam, these two things are mentioned. Okay, rather he should josayet sarva karmani, means he should engage him in such work, in such work, and then he will slowly gain jnana. But you find Prabhupada purports a little more elevating the person, because this is not a Vedic case now. If you now I mentioned who is now engaged in prescribed duty, कौन engaged है, पहले तो क्वेश्चन उधर है ना. तो देन अभी उसको ऐसे ही छोड़ दे क्या? ऐसे तो नहीं छोड़ोगे. So then Prabhupada says that you inspire him, you also do the same work, you inspire him how to connect to Krishna. Now here there is no word mentioned about Krishna, no word mentioned. But then Prabhupada purport says that you just inspire him actually. Just see, the learned Krishna conscious person may act in. Now why learned Krishna conscious mentions? Then Prabhupada says that we are discussing about Krishna consciousness right now. At the same time, this all from previous third chapter beginning, we will find that Krishna is mentioning actually those things. That karma yogi is basically Krishna conscious, niskam karma yogi, buddhi yoga, all those things. So the whole context is taken here, and then discussion is going ahead. So yes, just see, I realize soul in Krishna should not disturb others, is mentioned. And then the learned Krishna conscious person may act in such a way that ignorant person working for sense gratification may learn how to act and how to behave. So now how a Krishna conscious person works to inspire person? He will also go for a job. Now in the job, he will discuss about the job matters, but at the same time, he will eat prasadam. So then people will ask, okay, why don't you eat in restaurant? Oh, we actually offer to Krishna, and then we take. So then person, acha, this is very good. This is very good. This will free you from all karma. So by eating and while working also, he will teach, okay, how you are so much dedicated, you're not taking away any leave, anything, or so dedicated. So yeah, we should work, because this work is, everything has been created by Krishna actually. And we have our duty time here, this to this time. So we should work honestly. At the same time, this working, we should understand, Prabhupada mentioned that I have been put in this situation of work by Krishna. So let me work honestly. And then the fruits will be given to service of Krishna, because we are devotee. So our life, either a professional life or a pure devotional life, both are devotional service actually. So then the person gets inspired. So here Prabhupada, even though in the verse it's not mentioned, but Krishna means to say the same thing, ki Vidwan should Joseph Sarva Karmani, try to engage him in all those activities where he is engaged, but try to uplift him from there, because slowly kuch to trick karo. You should trick, like in home, basically parents, when children want to play whole day, what parents say, okay, you play whole day, no problem, but what you should do? No, not whole day. I will give you play only for 2 hours, and then you have to come and study. Then only I will allow you for play. Same thing. Means you put some condition and then allow him for play. This is important. Means the Vidwan should think that how this person, his proclivity should also be fulfilled, as well as some good activity should also happen. Constructive. So then they say 2 hours play and then 2 hours study. Are you agreeing? He said no. Okay, then 2.5 hour play and 2 hours study. So like that. Somehow we have to get our things also done. Like somebody मोबाइल मांगेगा, मोबाइल दे दो हमको, मोबाइल दे दो, ठीक, मोबाइल देंगे तुमको, तो मोबाइल में क्या देखोगे? यही चीज़ देखोगे, इसके अलावा कोई चीज़ देखोगे तो नहीं मिलेगा मोबाइल, ठीक है, और कितने समय के लिए मिलेगा, बस. तो ज्ञानवान व्यक्ति शुड जो सही सर्व कर्माणि, वो करवाओ, लेकिन ज्ञान को ध्यान में रख के, क्योंकि ये तो अटैच्ड है व्यक्ति, ये गलत रास्ते में चला जाएगा. अभी इसको सही कैसे करना है? दैट अ विद्वान व्यक्ति शुड थिंक. He should also act in such a way to inspire that person. so that he can overcome his tendencies. So okay, see, anybody who reads Bhagavad Gita properly or hears from a person who has understood, then he will not have a question. But only thing, people are envious of Krishna many times. This when you say ना devotion, अब उनको क्या problem है? Devotion के लिए क्या उनको बोला जा रहा है कि तुम पैसा दे दो अपने पॉकेट से निकाल के? मतलब भगवान का भक्ति में तुम्हें क्या दिक्कत है? डिवोशन वर्ड से लोगों को बहुत प्रॉब्लम आ गया. तो क्या अगर यहाँ पे तपस्या लिख दिया जाए ना, वर्क इन तपस्या, तो दे विल नॉट डू तपस्या. Tapasya also they will not do. They basically want sense gratification. So the Gita is never meant for them actually. Gita 18 chapter is mentioned. It's only meant for austere and those people who are free from envy, those who do tapasya. For them this knowledge is meant. But then Prabhupada writes a purport, but devotees are more liberal than Krishna and they will spread everywhere. So now Prabhupada is Acharya. He can sometime cross over the Krishna instruction also, because he knows that Krishna ultimately he wants his devotees to preach his masses, everyone. And you do not know who is austere, so therefore you preach, and somebody is austere, you will take. Prakrite guna sammudha sajjante guna karmasu tan akrishna vido mandan krishna vinna vichalayet. Yes.
Bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activities and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although these duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge.
Okay. The same thing Krishna is talking. We are seeing the bhav. What is the bhav of Krishna? Krishna's bhav is, earlier we were discussing in karma. Many times this thought came to the devotee's mind. प्रभु जी, करना है अगर डिजायर है रिजल्ट के लिए, तो फिर क्या करना है? वो अभी यहाँ पे कृष्ण आंसर कर रहे हैं, उसको करने दो एक्टिविटी. अगर रिजल्ट के लिए डिजायर कर रहा है तो करने दो उसको. वो उसको नहीं पता है कि प्रकृति कर रही है, वो माया में फंसा, वो नहीं पता, उसे करने दो. But at the same time, does Krishna say that leave him? No, he says Vidwan, act in such a way to inspire him. Some way, inspire him. This is important. So, bewildered by the modes of material nature, the ignorant fully engage themselves in material activity and become attached. But the wise should not unsettle them, although their duties are inferior due to the performer's lack of knowledge. And here I think Prabhupada will mention, here he will mention, okay, what persons who are unknowledgeable falsely identify with the gross material consciousness and are full of material designations. This body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached to the bodily consciousness called manda or lazy person without understanding of the spirit. So some of us must think, what is this lazy? Everybody is so active in this world. Whether why shloka say prayena alpa ayusaha sabya kalavasmi nuge jana manda su manda matayo. Mand bola gaya hai, matlab lazy. They are lazy not for material work, they are lazy for spiritual work. They will do work hard. अगर कंपनी सुबह बुलाएगी ना 4 बजे भी, आदमी उठता है 4 बजे भी और जाएगा जॉब के लिए, लेकिन मंगल आरती में नहीं आएगा वो 4 बजे. आप देख सकते हैं 4 बजे तो ठीक है, 4 बजे कोई कंपनी नहीं बुलाती, मान लो 6 बजे भी. आई हैव सीन पर्सनली पीपल वेकिंग अप अर्ली इन द मॉर्निंग फॉर कंपनी, बट दे विल नॉट कम फॉर टेम्पल. Why? Because of this, because they are in bodily consciousness. They think that, here mentioned clearly, those who falsely identify with the gross material consciousness are full of material designations. This body is a gift of material nature, and one who is too much attached is called manda. Is manda for spiritual activity, not for material activity. He is quite active for material activity. Is there. So ignorant men think of the body as a self. They accept the bodily connection with others as a kinsmanship. The land in which the body is obtained is their object of worship. And this is all Bharatwasi आ गए इसमें. भारत माता की जय. Social work, nationalism and altruism are some of the activities for such materially designated persons. So what is the activity? Just see, ये है social work, nationalism, altruism. So these are the activities. They are very, very. Now Prabhupada is mentioning now how they are not lazy. They are not lazy. They will not work for their family. They will work for society. They will work for nation, altruism. But when it is said that you work for Krishna, they will not work. They will not work. I remember, this is a very factual experience. Like there was one devotee, and he was continuing value education for children. And then the devotee was shifting to some other place. And then they called us that you please continue. And as soon as the first day entrance happened, after that the next day onwards, the crowd only vanished actually. The crowd only vanished. So then we inquired how the crowd vanished actually. Because these people were RSS people. And they were running their programs, but when they saw that more solid Krishna conscious people are now coming, they become fearful.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Just 1 minute. So they are active for such things actually. Materially designated person. So men who are ignorant cannot appreciate activities in Krishna consciousness, and therefore the Lord Krishna advises us not to disturb them, simply waste valuable time. But the devotees of the Lord are more kind than Lord, because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Just see what Prabhupada writes. Why devotees are more kind? Because they understand the purpose of the Lord. Lord, see, sometimes purpose are hidden and his statements are spoken. So sometimes people take literally what the person means. No, if you know the purpose of that person and then you try to read his statements or his instructions, then you'll understand more better. Like somebody to Prabhupada says, Prabhupada, somebody asks person, Prabhupada, our health is not good. So then Prabhupada say, oh, you should eat nicely, be happy, take nice food. So then what may happen? The person does not know what is the whole purpose of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's purpose is to take to Krishna consciousness. That is the purpose. So the devotees can understand why Prabhupada is saying why. Because Prabhupada wants to inspire him, ultimately he will wants to bring him to bhakti. So the purpose has to be understood. Consequently, they undertake all the kinds of risk, even to put the point of approaching ignorant man to try to engage him in the act of, see, this is what Prabhupada ends all whole discussion. Ki devotees, they still approach these people and try to engage with them in the act of Krishna consciousness, which are absolutely necessary for human being. Krishna says, don't disturb. Prabhupada says, disturb. So why? Because nobody is knowing what activity they have to do. First thing. Secondly, even though they may know also, this Kali Yuga is very short age. These activity will ultimately be fruitless because they cannot give result so quickly. So better to engage him in Krishna consciousness and he will pass away from this world remembering Krishna. Or while doing work he will be happy. Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam Susukham Kartup Avyam. He will be doing bhakti in happiness. Like that. So this is important thing. Many times people they challenge devotee or they criticize devotee that why you are too much after these people. अरे छोड़ दो ना उसको. छोड़ दो, सोने दो उनको, क्या दिक्कत है, क्यों उठा रहे उसको. So one has to be sensitive, that has to be there. Without sensitivity is not good. At the same time, we should also be compassionate. So there is a difference between sensitivity and compassion. Compassion is coming from Acharya, from Parampara. So that is compassion. Sensitivity is our human tendency. Okay, I have to be sensitive to somebody else. But I am sensitive but not rightly compassionate. Then what is the use of such things? Only sensitive. Yeah, like that. मयि सर्वाणि कर्माणि सन्न्यस्य अध्यात्मचेतसा निरासीर् निर्ममो भूत्वा युद्धस्व विगज्वरः. Okay, now some Mataji will read. Sarayu Samant Mataji, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
पढ़िए.
Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desire for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. Offering.
Okay, leave it now. Sanyas adhyatma chetasa. मई सर्वाणी. Now just see, now Krishna jumping now. अभी क्या बोल रहे थे, डिस्टर्ब मत करो अर्जुन, उसको मत करो. Actually he is saying, Arjuna, you are a vidwan. I am saying for those who are foolish, those who don't know about the absolute truth, and you should not disturb. But you don't think about yourself that you are also foolish, I should not disturb you to fight. No, you should fight. And therefore he ends the instruction after telling, Mai sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasa. In adhyatma chetasa means knowledge about the self and super self. In that consciousness, give all your karmani to me. Sanyasya. Sanyas all karmani to me. ये karmani मतलब activity नहीं छोड़ना है, result को छोड़ना है. Sometimes karmani means the fruit of activity. Okay. Nirasir nirmamo bhutva. Nirasir means no desire for fruit and without false ego that I am the doer. Okay. Now in second chapter 2.47 Karmanyavadikaraste, there Krishna has spoken the credit wala part. Don't take the credit. So the credit part is nirmamo bhutva. Okay. Ownership. When you want to take credit, when you think that I have done. So basically that also time he is saying the nirmamo and nirasir. Nirasir means no आशा. आशा नहीं है उसकी, कोई रिजल्ट, उसको कोई प्रॉफिट नहीं चाहिए, आशा नहीं है उसको कुछ, जस्ट कर रहा है. निराशीर, इनडिफरेंट. एंड निर्ममो, ही इज नॉट थिंकिंग दैट ये मेरा रिजल्ट है, ये मैंने किया है. नो. सो नीदर ही इज भोक्ता इज दिस, एंड नीदर इज थिंकिंग हिमसेल्फ कर्ता. तो निर्ममो मीन्स आई एम नॉट द कर्ता, नीदर आई एम भोक्ता. फिनिश. नो कर्ता, नो भोक्ता. युद्धस्व विगज्वरा. And then you fight. Arjuna, you fight. So in Adhyatma Chetasa, this is called work in worship. What do you mean by work? When work becomes worship? When you do work in Adhyatma Chetasa, means in the knowledge of the absolute truth, and then you offer all your results of your activity as well as your work also, no issue, to Krishna. And what should be the again consciousness? Nirasir nimamo, neither I am a doer nor I am an enjoyer. Like that. So these three things: knowledge of the absolute truth, offering the works, and I am not a doer, I am not an enjoyer. In this work become worship. Like that. So this is a real understanding of Niskama Karma Yoga. This is Niskama Karma Yoga. Not that simply somebody say, okay, I am also doing work. I have been encouraged in Bhagavad Gita. See, Bhagavad Gita encourages some people, and they may tell that some shloka before, I have been also encouraged that I should work for fruitive activities. Krishna is not encouraging. Krishna is telling Arjuna, Vidwan should not disturb these people. They are ignorant people. It's not that Krishna is encouraging their work. Krishna is saying they will be purified slowly, or you try to help them in certain way. They are diseased people. You try to help them, but never make them give up their work. Like that Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Okay. The 1 minute. So this verse clearly indicates the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord instructs that one has to become fully Krishna conscious to discharge his duties as if military discipline. So in military discipline, things are quite tough because एक बार बोल दिया मतलब बोल दिया, वो सुन के करना ही पड़ता है. So surely this requires training, and that is why Gurukul training is very important. Why there are even some flaws in Krishna conscious activities in our ISKCON, because they are not people, these people are not trained through Gurukulas actually. This is important. The reason is, when somebody is trained under some guru with a proper military discipline, karna hai matlab karna hai, this kind of thought, so then he understands what I have to do, and then this is my activity I have to do. So why there are so many disagreement or disagreement can be there on the services, that is okay, that is spiritual. Prabhupada says, I want to do service in this way, somebody say I want to do service in that way. So see, here Prabhupada himself writes, such an injunction may make things little difficult, nevertheless duty must be carried out with dependence on Krishna. So he also says it's a difficult, yes, okay, instruction bol diya ab karna hai. Like Lord Ram says to Lakshman, take Sita and put her in the ashram of Valmiki Muni. Now it's very difficult for Lakshman to do that, but now it is the instruction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has to do that. So many times the instructions of Guru, instructions of authorities are very unpalatable, and then but one has to do that. It's a military discipline like that. So here Prabhupada says that thing. The living entity cannot be happy independent of cooperation of the Supreme Lord, because the eternal constitution position of living entity to become subordinate to the desire of the Lord. Yes, this is the eternal position of the living entity. So subordinate to the desire of the Lord, he is a Purusha and we are Prakriti. So Prakriti has to follow the instructions and the order of the Purusha. So Arjuna was ordered by Sri Krishna to fight as if the Lord were his military commander. One is to sacrifice everything for the goodwill of the Lord, at the same time discharge prescribed duty without claiming proprietorship. Just see, करना भी है और proprietor भी नहीं लेना है कि मैंने किया है. Just do the duty. Like hands, they cannot take that I have done, because the hands are connected to body. So whole activity credit will be taken by the body or the person who is inside the body, Atma. So the hands are simply instruments. So we are instrument. Krishna says you are simply instrument, and whatever I am telling you to do, just do it without not doing or without becoming lazy. Don't consider those things. No. Arjuna did not have to consider the order of the Lord. He has to just execute the order. Sochna bhi nahi hai, kar do. The Supreme Lord is the soul of all souls. Therefore, one who depends solely and wholly on the Supreme Lord without personal consideration, or in other words, one who is fully Krishna conscious, is called Adhyatma Chetasa. Nirasi means one has to act on the order of a master but should not expect fruitive results. The cashier may count millions of dollars for his employer, but he does not claim a cent for himself. Similarly, one has to realize that nothing in this world belongs to any individual, but that everything belongs to Supreme Lord. That is the real purport of Mai unto me. And when one acts in such Krishna consciousness, certainly he does not claim proprietorship over anything. This is consciousness is called Nirmama. Nothing is mine. Like when we offer in Yagya also we say that Indraya Swaha Nirmama. It says that it's not mine.
Mama.
No. Yes.
This is not
Namama.
Namama. Idam Namama.
Idam Namama. Yeah. Idam Namama. So same concept. Indraya Swaha Idam Namama. So Idam, this does not belong to me. It belongs to you. I am giving to you. Indra. So Nirmama, same thing. That I have done the work, now this work does not belong to me. This fruit does not belong to me. I am giving to you. I am offering everything to you, like that. And if there is any reluctance to execute such a stern order, which is without consideration of so-called kinsman in the bodily relationship, that reluctance would be thrown off. In this way, one may become Bigajwara without feverish mentality or lethargy. So what is a lethargy? This is a lethargy. Oh, my family people are telling don't go to Mangal Aarti, or they are saying, oh, don't do this activity. Okay, for beginners it's okay, but for a devotee who is 10 years in Krishna, 20 years in Krishna, still he is maintaining such kind of you can say allegation or whatever by their families. You are going to Mangal Aarti, this, that. Then he should understand he is not Bigajwara. Jwara means feverish mentality. Bigat means become free from. So what instruction we should hear and what we should not hear, that we should decide. So Krishna conscious activity is military discipline. If not all activities, then at least some activity we should be doing, considering that I must do this, because it's a uh, it's a order of the Lord. It's mentioned here. Mai sanyasyam Mai sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasa nirmamo nirhankaro nirmamo and nirasir. Here is the word nirasir. Word nirasir nirmamo. Two things are used. Then bigajvara, become free from this febris mentality of lethargy. So like that, and this will take one to the path of liberation. Okay. ये मे मतमिदं नित्यम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति मानवः श्रद्धावन्तो अनुस्यन्तो मुच्यन्ते ते अपि कर्मभिः.
Those persons who execute their duties according to my injunctions and who follow this teaching faithfully without envy become free from the bondage of fruitive actions.
When children are told by parents, do this, the first thought passes to children for those instructions which they do not like, and parents are saying do this, then children, they feel envy actually that time. Why you are saying to me, I don't want to do this, don't say to me once again, I don't want to do this. This is envy. But this envy is because of ignorance, because he does not know that parents are well-wishers, so he does not have knowledge, or he is not trained in a proper samskar. He started fighting. Sometimes they start fighting fighting, हाथ पकड़ के तोड़ने में मोड़ने में लगते हैं बच्चे. कभी आजकल के बच्चे और पहलवान हो गए. Sometimes start fighting also. Why? Here Krishna mentions कि following instruction of Krishna, or even sometimes superior, who is instructing for the right cause, has to be done. So without envy, and then faithfully accept the teaching and without envy, and then become free from the bondage of fruitive action. Then he will become free from bondage of fruitive action. So what is the way to become free from bondage of fruitive action? Just follow the Krishna's instruction, faithfully and without envy. So faith is in positive direction, envy is in negative direction. So one who follows, then is called faithful person. One who does not follow, he can be said that okay, he is envious, he does not like to follow. Or envy is a quite hard term, so we can say that he is having his own desires. आजकल लोग बोल देते हैं, he has his own desires. Basically, he does not like to follow. Yes, Prabhu.
Sometimes in rituals, whatever authority says, I felt that it is wrong, so I used to disobey them. So sometimes we act accordingly. Though they are telling, we know also, but some instructions, whatever they told, we can't digest it. We are doing, if I am doing also, but internally I have that thing like not satisfaction. So how to? Sometimes it happens.
Okay, what you're saying, you're doing also. Who has given some? I could not hear.
Our authorities, maybe in some services or whatever we are doing. Sometimes we do happily. Sometimes whatever they said, I felt that it's not for me or something. It happened, and also one time, sometimes I will do because authority is telling I'm doing, but internally satisfaction will not be there. Whatever authority, that will happen sometimes.
Okay.
So how to rectify in myself?
See, there's one thing also in this regard. In our Krishna consciousness, as we are growing, so we are reading, we are hearing, and so authority's role in our beginning of Krishna consciousness and our grown-up Krishna consciousness, this is different actually. Like Chanakya Pandit says himself that children should be disciplined from 5 to 16 age, and then after that mitravad, the parents become friend with children, because then that time children should be given instruction in a friendly way. Friendly matlab, this is the right thing to be done and this is the wrong thing which one should not do. So like that the instruction should be given. Okay, so then he will choose the right because he has already been trained properly. Okay, so now, so when it comes to us also, when we are given certain instructions, so when we are grown up in Krishna consciousness, so then people, authorities would say that, okay, Prabhu, would you like to do this service? This is very important and very beneficial for you also. You just choose out if you want to do or you want to continue with your previous service. So then some option should be given when you are grown up. And if somebody says, Prabhu, okay, give up your service, come here, just do this, okay. So that can be some emergency service, but that should not be a regular service. Give up your previous service and you start doing. So then that instruction itself is not valid actually. Because again saying, the grown up person and a beginner person, दोनों के लिए भाव अलग है. एक में भाव डिसिप्लिन करने का है, एक में भाव मित्रवत है, फ्रेंडली उसको इंस्पायर करना है. और एक में क्या है, भाव क्या है कि डिसिप्लिन करना. ही डज नॉट नो एट ऑल व्हाट ही हैज टू बी डन, क्या करना उसको पता ही नहीं है. ओके, so now you may ask that then why Krishna is saying here or Prabhupada is saying military discipline. Military discipline means what then? See, military discipline means again already that person is engaged in some service and he is doing that service with a dedicatedness. Okay, yes, I am doing this, I am not free to be engaged anywhere or everywhere. No, I am already doing my service. So then he is engaged in that like a military discipline. So one has to understand, okay, this is one thing. Second thing also, when we are grown up, if you are not engaged anywhere, then our faith decreases. So then we don't listen to anyone. So faith should not be decreasing. If we are not engaged anywhere, we are not doing anything, then we should with faithfully accept. Okay, ठीक है, please give me something, I will advance, I will do something, surely I will do. So therefore, this has to be balanced. If somebody is not engaged, accept it faithfully and follow it. Military discipline. If you are already engaged, then try to consider whether how much time you can give to the new service, how much time you have left from previous one, like that. Or is the authority so much mature that you can consult with him and ask, Prabhu, I have this service and you are giving me this service, which service I should be doing, let me know. So you should also feel trust on him. By hearing his answer, you can change your service or something. So like that. So this is dynamically done actually. It's not static. एक बार बोल दिया मतलब करना है, अभी करना है. Prabhupada God brothers comes and then say कि what you are doing in foreign country, what preaching, nothing, nobody will become devotee. Prabhupada did not hear. Prabhupada said my spiritual master already told to go to foreign and preach, and so I am doing it. So he will not listen to anyone like that. Like Prabhupada wanted to take sannyas, and some of his God brothers said, why you want to take sannyas? So he said, no, my Guru Maharaj came in my dream and told to take sannyas. Then some people say, Arey, how can Guru Maharaj come in your dream? This is all your imagination. But then Keshav Maharaj said, no, it's correct. Guru Maharaj must have come, so I will give you sannyas. So he gave sannyas. So again, it's we consult different people whenever some serious decision has to be taken in our life. One authority will not be sufficient actually. So again, depending upon, are we beginning Krishna consciousness or we are growing up in Krishna consciousness? So therefore we need to have mature thinking, mature decisions we have to take. Not that all the time, madam, may I go to toilet? Oh, छोटे बच्चे में ऐसा बोलते हैं, अब वो बड़े होके भी नहीं, can we go to toilet? No, you know what is your needs. You directly go to toilet whenever you are feeling. No need to always ask. So therefore there is difference actually. Instructions are different, as well as the way it is delivered, that is also different. Like Srila Prabhupada, many times when he asked Tamalkis Gosai Maharaj, so you know Tamalkis Gosai Maharaj, he used to call him and tell, okay, now we will have a lunch together. Okay, so now he will make him sit in the lunch table and he will start eating with Tamalkis Gosai Maharaj, and then he will put his new service to him. So Tamal, we are sitting here on the food table, and generally businessmen they sit and they discuss about the business. So now I want to tell you this thing. So now you please take up this seva. So Prabhupada was very clever. So क्या होता है, businessmen खाने के लिए बैठते, नया business discuss करते. Like that he was eating with them, and so because he knew that he is a grown-up man already doing so many seva. So now I have to ask him. He did not say, Tamal, change your seva, go here. Sometimes he said also because of the complaint came against Maharaj. But again, in regular dealing, he was understanding he's already responsibly engaged. Now I have to ask him whether he can change, like that. So, Mitravad, that is important. Therefore, Brahmachari Guru Kule Basandanto Guru Varhitam Acharan Dasavan Nicho Guru Sudra Sohrida. There it is mentioned Acharan Dasavan Nicho. One should act as a niche, menial servant of Gurudev. But later, the same part, Narad Muni says that one should feel friendly for Gurudev. That Guru is very friendly to me. That is for small children. But when the child grows up, becomes a nice, like Acharya, so then he also understands my Guru is telling me something out of friendship. Okay, you do this thing, like that. So, yeah, the bhav changes actually later. It's a mitravad. Again, it does not mean that one should not give respect to Guru. Mitra does not mean, Prabhupada one time said, somebody said that Prabhupada, what will be our relationship with the spiritual master? Will it grow to Madhuri Ras also? Prabhupada stopped him and said, nonsense. Only there is a Guru, master and servant relationship. There is no Madhuri Ras. There was some discussion actually with Prabhupada. And the devotee was quoting Prabhupada, one advances from one vasa to another. So with Guru also it happens. Prabhupada said, nonsense, only master and servant relationship. There is no other relationship. But at the same time, Guru becomes very friendly. As the disciple grows in Krishna consciousness, then he simply tells him, you just do it, inspires him, and then he follows. And he also gives you freedom. And some people say, अरे कितना भी बूढ़ा हो जाए, हम मंगल आरती आएंगे, एक एक काम करेंगे, हड्डियां भी पतली टूट ना जाए, कुछ भी हो जाए. वो फैनेटिसिज्म है actually. That is also fanaticism actually. We are not here to just show everyone that I am मंगल आरती में हर बार आता हूँ मैं, जब बूढ़ा हो गया दांत निकल गया वो हो गया, ये भी कहीं प्राइड होता है हमारा. This is again pride actually. We should say that I will try to follow. Who knows? See, we are all, अभी जैसे हम पढ़े क्यों, प्रकृति क्रिया मानानी, प्रकृति इज वर्किंग थ्रू. अगर प्रकृति ने हमारे को बॉडी ऐसे खच्चड़ दे दिया, बॉडी जो चल नहीं सकता, कैन वी क्लेम दैट आई विल गो मंगल आरती? नहीं जा सकते ना. तो आई विल ओनली डिजायर, यू कैन ओनली डिजायर दैट टू गो. तो वी शुड से दैट आई विल डिजायर दैट आई विल सर्व कृष्णा इवन इन दैट ओल्ड डेज, नॉट दैट आई विल अटेंड इवन इन दैट. अरे अटेंड क्या, तुमको चला ही नहीं जाएगा, क्या अटेंड करोगे? तो कभी कभी लोग अपने ऊपर इतना सेल्फ राइचियस हो जाते, जो भी मैं करता हूँ सही करता हूँ, मेरे सिवा गीता पे हाथ रख कसम खाता हूँ, जो भी करूँगा सही करूँगा, उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं करूँगा. ऐसा होता नहीं है. एक बार ये शरीर चला जाता है ना, मन चला जाता है, तो फिर आदमी को पता लग जाता है. जब तक वो जीवन मुक्त नहीं बनता है, until unless he is like Sanatan Goswami, Haridas Thakur, he was told by Lord, reduce your rounds. Haridas Thakur, जब नहीं हो रहा, तुम्हारा बॉडी खराब हो रहा है. Haridas Thakur was telling, no, my Lord, my body is okay, my mind is not good. He was telling other way, but his body was not okay. Sanatan Goswami, he tell, don't do so much parikrama, because body becomes very invalid now, it becomes very difficult. So we can have bhava at that time, but we cannot execute those duties. So we should not be fanatic all the time. So military discipline का ये मतलब नहीं है कि एकदम fanatic हो जा, body का care नहीं करो, ऐसा मतलब बिल्कुल नहीं है. So it should be understood in a proper context here. Arjuna is a nice, energetic Kshatriya, and he has said that you should follow now. Now if somebody comes like एकदम old, trodden body, एकदम खत्म body, बोला चलो लड़ाई करो, कृष्ण के लिए लड़ाई करो, वो क्या लड़ाई करेगा? गन उठाती गिर जाएगा, तो वो लड़ाई नहीं कर सकता. Very simple. So one should have bhava to serve Krishna, but according to one's age and potential, one should factually serve Krishna. ये त्वा एतद् अभ्यसूयन्तो नानुतिष्ठन्ति मे मतं सर्वज्ञानविमूढां सा विमूढां स्तान् विद्धि नष्टान् अचेतसः. Yes, go ahead.
But those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, befolded, and ruined in their endeavors for perfection.
Correct. So those who disregard, so I said faithful and envy, these are two against. Okay, envy, if we don't want to follow and we don't have knowledge about that person, whether it's good for us or no. And faithful means when we have faith, we understand he's a good person, he has a good heart, he wants to teach me, like that, and so we follow. The faith is there. So Krishna says, one who is not aware about my knowledge, who does not know about the absolute truth, these people envy actually, disregard this teaching and do not follow. So when we discuss with people, when we deal with the people outside, we should see in other ways that this person does not, he may hate Krishna, but we should see that he is hating Krishna because he does not know about Krishna properly. Let me explain properly. But again, many times, if we explain Krishna directly, then he may again hate more. So then indirectly you have to explain Krishna, some way other. Indirectly you have to explain Krishna. So here he says, do not follow them regularly, are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled, ruined in their endeavor for perfection. So these people will never attain any perfection. The flaw of not being Krishna conscious clearly mentioned, as there is punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head, so there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Lord. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramatma and personality due to the vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope of perfection of life for him. He will degrade down to the lower species. Krishna says in further chapter also, Chipyami aham ajasrava asubhan, he says that. Asubhan means in a papa yoni, like in animal forms, asura bhava, animalistic body they will get, or asura body they will get. So he cast them into that asura form, asura yoni, because they are against the Lord, they are envious of the Lord. So those who envy the Lord send them to hell. So that is what Lord is saying. Okay, you have to follow. Sadrisam cheshtate swasaya prakrite jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. Yes.
When a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature, for everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish?
अभी यहाँ पे how Krishna is turning the points now. Now somebody can say, अरे what about the people outside? Sometimes your devotees also do not follow. ज्ञानवान भी लोग फॉलो नहीं करते, फिर क्या बोलोगे? वो लोग भी गिर जाते हैं, योगा करते करते कहीं चले जाते हैं, या कुछ हो जाता है उनके साथ, तो उनके बारे में क्या? अब यहाँ पे भगवान एक चीज बताएंगे कि यहाँ पे स्वभाव, see many times, so Krishna says last some verses he said, some people envy me, they disregard me, they don't have faith in me, and they don't follow me, and if they don't follow, they will be thrown to the hellish destination. Okay, now here the talk will begin now here, because there are many people who are Jnanwan, who knows about you, they also do not follow. तो उनका क्या है? So then he says, Krishna says, Arjuna, what can be done? These three modes of material nature are very powerful. So the kind of swabhava, the kind of sanskar they get in these three modes, if I tell them, if I don't do this, even if I tell them don't do, they will still do it. Even the Jnanvan will do. That's why Krishna in second chapter he says, na, Yatato hayapi kaunteya purasasya vipaschitya indriyani pramatini haranti prasabham mana. यततो अपि कौन्तेय पुरस्य विपश्चित मीन्स ज्ञानवान व्यक्ति को भी इंद्रियां खींच के लेके पटक देती हैं उसको. स्वभाव बहुत ही फोर्सफुल है. सो देन कृष्णा इज सेइंग, इवन इफ आई रिप्रेस इट, सप्रेस इट, कि तुम मत करो, फिर भी वो करेगा ज्ञानवान होने के बावजूद भी, क्योंकि उसका हार्ट क्लीन नहीं हुआ है. हिज हार्ट इज नॉट क्लीन फुली. सो everyone follows, it's the nature he has acquired. Like sometimes devotee also say, na, Prabhu accept me, this is how I am. Or tolerate me. खास करके offenses में भी कई बार होता है. Like some people have tendency to, some people होता ही है offense करने का, वो तो है ही, प्योर नहीं है तो बोलते प्रभु आज मैंने offense किया, माफ़ी मांग रहा हूँ, कल फ्यूचर में भी करूँगा, तो प्लीज़ माफ़ कर देना, मैं आप ही के पैर पड़ता हूँ, हमें माफ़ करना. तो Therefore, Trinadapi Sunichena is not a verse which has to be followed one day only in our life. Eh? Because if offenses are happening again and again, then we have to follow, keep on following. So this is the thing actually. Unless one comes to the real knowledge, he becomes situated, he has to keep on following these principles. Because repression cannot accomplish. दबा के भी कोई फायदा नहीं है, दबाओगे उसको तो वो भी निकल के आने वाला एक दिन. तो purification of heart is only the solution. And how it will happen? Purification of heart, the sloka I had said, or Acharya says, by association of saintly people. By association of saintly people, the great souls, they can finish off these old sanskaras quickly. By no other method, by austerity, penance, sacrifice, by no other method this can be freed. One cannot free from these things actually. Okay, unless one is situated in transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from influence of modes of material nature. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. So even Jnani cannot come out. What about Karmi? Karmi also cannot come out. Just see, even the highest knowledge he has, he cannot come out. Karmi and Jnani both. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly and privately are completely under the particular modes of material nature, which they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in the bondage. Why is somebody in bondage? Because of long association with material nature. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in prescribed duty in the terms of material existence. So even though somebody is engaged in prescribed duty according to Brahmana, Kshatriya, but because he is doing Krishna consciousness, he will be freed from such tendencies. Okay, therefore without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duty. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna Maya. Now just see, this was the purport I was saying earlier. Earlier, Prabhupada said, अगर तुमने अपना प्रिस्क्राइब ड्यूटी भी छोड़ दिया है, कोई बात नहीं, भक्ति में आ जाओ. Come to Krishna consciousness. त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजामरे भजनपक्को यथा पतेत ततोऽधि. Whatever condition may be, give up your prescribed duty and come into bhakti, Krishna will accept you. Now here he is saying from higher perspective now, कि even if the person comes, he will fall down because he is not purified yet. And Krishna consciousness will also take some time to purify him. So better remain engaged in prescribed duty and continue bhakti together. So that, because what happens, like mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, these all three modes are there. So Vedas provide activity according to the modes a person is inside that mode. So those activities if he keep on doing, then he will become saved from the same mode or the lower modes which will drag him to do some other activity, which will be sinful. Like somebody is said that you have to work for family. If this statement is not there, what he will do? He will work for only sense enjoyment. So he is still in mode of passion while he is working. But because he is working according to Shastras, he is getting purified. And if he does not work according to Shastra, no, he is not taking it seriously, then he will work for sense gratification, and that time he will become more sinful. That's why in whatever mode one is, one should continue doing one's prescribed duty and also practice Krishna consciousness. Both things are mentioned. But somebody is coming to bhakti immediately out of sentiment, we can encourage him. But again, spiritual master says, go back and continue your duties and also do Krishna consciousness, because this will be more stable way, actually, more stable way. हाँ, अगर कोई जैसे भाई सबरी है, अब सबरी का कहानी है, सबरी was sober once and she was elevated actually. Gurudev engaged her. He did not send her back. And many times it also happens, Prabhupada also, especially the sannyasis and brahmacharis, he did not send them back because he understood that if they will go back, they will not continue bhakti. So that time he sheltered them. Even he sheltered even the ladies, the girls in brahmachari ashrama, because he knew that in outside country there is no such system of keeping the girls inside the home. So then they were roaming here and there. He said, okay, come and live here better and practice bhakti. But in India, he cannot do that because there is a lot of opposition. So it's like that. So basically, be situated in a prescribed duty and also continue Krishna conscious. This is the instruction. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Puji. Krishna. Puji, so my question is, maybe couple of verse before now, we were discussing that whenever we have any desire, we can only desire. We cannot actually, the work which is being done is by the material nature.
Mm.
Prakriti is doing the work.
Mm.
So, but we also, so this I understood enough from related to this like phrase or this context. What I want to know is that Prabhuji, when someone is doing devotional service, we
Mm.
say devotional service is like na, not only in heart, do some action,
Mm.
right? Well, says na, not only just could not keep in heart, do some practical thing,
Mm.
right? So that is good way. Was the action, the desires becomes the action. Okay. And in a similar way, if someone is a thief or like a mischievous person, he will also have a desire that's a bad desire, and then he will also like do some wrong activity. And using this analogy only, people say that they do a lot of mischievous thing and they say कि हम थोड़ी कर रहे हैं, भगवान करा रहे हैं, वो करता है, हम थोड़ी करता है.
Mm.
And then so, and after this, because he does the wrong activity, he gets the sin, the sinful action is there, or punya is there. So where that pap punya comes into picture, is it only when starting itself when the person desires, or when it person does the action? Because जब वो action करता है तभी मार पड़ती है ना.
In
But root
Kali
cause is a desire.
in Kali Yuga, Bhagavatam says that if you desire something wrong in your mind, that will be forgiven. But when you act based on those desires, so then you will be responsible for your activity. But offenses are considered even in mind. If somebody is trying to offend a devotee or the Lord, so even that offense is in mind also considered. This I have heard from some devotee, but I did not get any reference. But for Bhagavatam says clearly that any activity in Kali Yuga not executed till the time you are not responsible for reaction of that activity. Reaction will not come. So when you start doing that activity, but previously in previous ages, even thinking was also considered reaction. I mean, you are responsible for that.
So that also used to incur like sin.
Yes,
If
yes.
someone
Even thinking also, yes. It happened actually. Who? This Renuka, Parshuram mother. Parshuram mother, she thought of that Gandharva. She just saw and immediately Jamadagni came to know, oh, she was appreciating some other person. So then he said, Parshuram, cut off her head because of the reaction. But again, problem what happened? Actually, he should not have given such a severe reaction to her. That was not
disproportionate.
disproportionate. So therefore, he was also killed later. Jamdagni was also killed later. So these are action reaction things will come. But we should understand that in Kali Yuga, because mind is so disturbed, we don't have a Satuguna environment, we don't have a Brahminical culture also. So you cannot expect that people should follow everything in mind also. Oh, possible nahi hai. People can try, but it is not possible. Therefore, Prabhupada removed this meditation process, because meditation, how can you have meditation? वो mind ही भाग जाता है हर जगह. कितना भी कोशिश करो तो एक ही चीज़ है, बस आप जप करो. जप मतलब मुंह पे बोलते रहो, भगवान आपको रिमेम्बरेंस देंगे. तो श्रवणम कीर्तनम स्मरणम will come later, but keep on doing श्रवणम कीर्तनम. Don't think that you will sit at one place and remember Krishna. That is very difficult. So keep on doing your activity and chanting holy name. That is important. So yes, here is mentioned. Just see. Even a person who knows the punishment stated in the scripture, Gyanvan, acts according to his sadrasham, his evil nature, swasaya prakrite, his sinful impression, which have been present since beginningless time. What then to speak of a person who does not even know about the punishment? All people, bhutani, follow yanti their sinful vasanas, prakritim, even though those desires cause the destruction of the very goal of their pursuit, artha, dharma, kama, and moksha. For a person devoid of association of saintly persons, even if he has the knowledge of his scriptures, what can punishment accomplish? He will not be able to destroy the strong influence of those bad vasanas. However, by saintly association, he destroys the bad vasanas even if they are very strong. The Smriti says, अहोदु संगम उत्सृज्य सस्तु सज्जेत बुद्धिमान संता एवस्य छिद्यन्ति चिन्दति मनो व्यसनंगम उक्तिभिः. An intelligent person should therefore reject all bad association and instead take up association of saintly devotees whose words cut off the excessive attachment to one's mind. So it's mentioned, it's the 11th canto. So this means the Vedic process will take a lot of time. Therefore, Ajamila could not be pacified. He saw the wrong side and he wanted to curb that wrong side, wrong thinking. But he could not do that because he was dependent upon Vedic process. So later he chanted holy name and got purified of all such things. So that were given by, like you can say, Vishnu Dutas. The association of Vishnu Duta inspired him. The discussion done between both of them, both of the parties. Now we are going to end. So we'll discuss one more sloka. Indriyasyendrayarthe ragadvesha vivasthito tayorna vasam agachet to he asya paripanthino. Yes.
There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversions because they are stumbling blocks on the path of the self-realization.
This is very important sloka actually. Till now, Krishna was saying here that what repression can achieve. Nigraham kim karishyati. Nigraham kim karishyati. Like sometime Raghunath Das Goswami, his parents were trying to bind him to house, that he will live at house, take care of his wife, earlier he was not married, but later he married her. And then they wanted, and his wife was like an angel, it is said. So submissive, so beautiful, everything was good. So, but still he was not attached because his renunciation was very high class. Too much attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then the mother was saying to father, अरे इसको घर में बांध के रख दो रस्सी में, ये कहीं जाएगा ही नहीं. तो बोलते निग्रहम किम करिष्यति, इसको बांध के क्या फायदा है, ये भाग जाएगा दोबारा. निग्रहम किम करिष्यति. तो दिस इज पॉजिटिव सेंस में बोला जा रहा है, मतलब ही इज क्वाइट एलिवेटेड. एंड फॉर सम होम्स सम चिल्ड्रन आर सो नॉटी, कुछ सुनते ही नहीं है, तो उनको बोलना पड़ता है निग्रहम किम करिष्यति, इसको रोक के क्या फायदा, ये तो करने ही वाला बाद में वही काम. दोनों जगह अप्लाइड होता है. सो सॉल्यूशन क्या बोला गया, दे हैव टू टेक सम सेंटली एसोसिएशन where they start taking such association seriously, and then there will be changes. So it's mentioned here. So now here Krishna is saying the rag and dvesh. The rag and dvesh, I said, what is the rag? Means if you get some good result, there is a happiness in mind, and attachment to that happiness is called rag. Means you are attached to that happiness, that yes, by doing such activity I got good result, and so you become attached. That is called rag. And dvesh means when certain activity gives you bad result, then you don't like that result and that activity. So that is called dvesh. So indriyasya indriyarthya rag dvesh vivasthito tayorna vasam agachet to he asya paripanthino. Ki there are the regulations given in the Vedic literatures, how to regulate your attachments and aversions. Okay. But one should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling block on the path of self-realization. मतलब क्या है, ये ध्यान देना.
Krishna Prabhuji, can you just define dvesh once more?
Dvesh means when certain activity gives you bad result, and then you don't like that result and activity. द्वेष, दूर रहो, ऐसा इसको बोलते हैं द्वेष. And whenever some activity gives you good result, you like that activity and result also, you become attached to that activity and result. So that is called rag. And these both have to be given up. Rag dvespi muktestu indriya visayescharan atma visayarvadhe atma prasadam adhigacchati. Second chapter Bhagavad Gita. One has to become free from rag and dvesh. And then one has to become situated in atma vasayar. One has to become situated in atma, self-realization. And then one will get prasadam adhigacchati. One will get the mercy of the Lord. Okay. So now here Prabhupada gives that those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulation of revealed scripture. Okay? Very clearly. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is a cause of material engagement. So for anyone, चाहे भक्ति में हो या भक्ति के बाहर हो, नियम तो पालन करना ही है, पहला चीज. Okay. Otherwise he will be bound. So one who follows the rules and regulation of revealed scripture does not become entangled by sense object. This is one thing. Example Prabhupada gives like a marriage. Every man and woman like to enjoy, but because there is a natural tendency. So then marriage has been made. Okay, now one woman, one man, according to Vivaha Sanskar. But still Prabhupada writes, and then according to Chanakya Pandit's statement, Matravat Pardareshu, every woman should be considered mother. But in spite of such injunction, a man is still inclined to have sex relationship with other women. This propensity has to be curbed. This has to be curbed. Otherwise, they will be stumbling block on the path of self-realization. As long as material body is there, the necessity of material bodies are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely on the control of such allowances. One has to follow those rules and regulations unattached to them. Because practice of sense gratification under regulations may also lead one ghost. इसका ये क्या मतलब बोला जा रहा है? कि sometimes people say, okay, now I am in married life, okay, now I have been given license, ठीक है, enjoy. No, this again, the sense gratification itself is a disease. So even license also given, that is dangerous. So one has to try to become more self-realized or overcome such tendencies. Even though like some children they want to eat sweet. So we can give some sweet to eat. But their tendency will not go away. Okay, we will tell, okay, केवल लड्डू खाओ, chocolate मत खाना, केवल ये खाओ, ये मत खाना. ऐसा like we may say to them, okay. But again, tomorrow it does not mean, if they simply remain based upon this, I have to only eat laddu. So tomorrow they will eat chocolate also because they have tendency to eat chocolate. So here Prabhupada says one should not be attached to such rules also. I have been given these rules, so I will continue till lifelong. No, one has to also overcome such sense gratificated desires. As much as there is always a chance of accident even on the royal road. So even on the right road also there is a chances of accident. It happens. Like we can see Kashyap and Diti. So Kashyap and Diti is a husband and wife. But now because of some desires came to Diti and she wanted to unite on the wrong time. And who came? Hiranyakashipu was born. So even though in the authorized family, she has a wrong desire, or whatever, the right desire but wrong time, and so the son was born, the demon was born, who harassed the whole world. So therefore such desires also has to be controlled, not only regulated. So one thing is, I am regulating my desires, but later you have to control also such desires. Don't only depend upon regulation. That is what is mentioned. The sense enjoying spirit has been current a very long time owing to material association. Therefore, in spite of regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment for any regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in loving service of the Lord detaches one from all kind of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to become detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kind of sense attachment is ultimately to become situated on platform of Krishna consciousness. So we should not become detached from Krishna conscious activity, like eating prasadam. This is also Krishna conscious. Dancing in kirtan, then chanting the holy name, meeting with the devotee. This is Krishna conscious activities. Discussing about Krishna. This should not be given up. But again, the sense enjoyment as a family life, or you can say other eating outside, or meeting with some relatives and discussing so many things. So there are some allowances are given, but those allowances are not just given that we should continue lifelong. No, we should also try to get rid of those things. That is what here it says. Krishna says, even though I have kept some regulations to regulate these attachments and aversion, Arjuna, but don't become attached to such things, my regulations, because even such regulations will cause problem on the path of self-realization. On the path of self-realization, nothing is required. Only Krishna consciousness is required. Pure Krishna consciousness. All other things should be slowly given up. लाइक अभी हम सोते भी है 6 घंटे, इवन सोना भी बाद में कम करना पड़ेगा. निद्राहार विहार का दिविज तो आहार निद्रा ये सभी कम करना पड़ेगा धीरे धीरे, जो हम और कृष्णा कॉन्शियस में सिंसियर होंगे. दीज आर ऑल्सो रूल्स रेगुलेशन गिवन. 6 घंटा सोना है, ये करना है, वो करना है, ये भी रूल्स रेगुलेशन है. इस पर भरोसा मत रखो. जब सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन की तरफ हम जाएंगे तो इसको भी छोड़ना पड़ेगा. So then Krishna is saying like that. Okay. So we'll end here. Any okay question? Yes. पूछिए.
Guruji, I understood this one, that we should not be attached to sense as object, but it is also talking about we should not be attached to the aversions also. Like I should not drink tea, I should not drink alcohol, or I should not do those. So I could not get this point, that we should not be attached to aversions also. Otherwise, they will cause.
No. Not attached to aversion. No, it's not like that. See, there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion. See, principle to regulate, I am saying. See, attachment is what? Like somebody is attached to drink tea. Okay. So then he said that, okay, drink herbal tea. This is attachment. Somebody does not like to get up early in the morning and he's averse. So then he said, okay, you don't like to get up early in the morning. Can you get up at 6 o'clock? Is it okay? So now herbal tea, अभी चाय कितनी बार पीते, मान लो कि 4 बार चाय पीता है, तो बोलेगा देखो प्रभु जी ने बोला 4 बार चाय पीना नहीं है, तो अभी हर्बल टी पीना, 4 बार ही पीना है मेरे को, और उठना है तो 6 बजे ही उठना है, 3 बजे नहीं उठना है, 6 बजे ही उठना है. So then even whatever instructions are told to regulate our activities, they also are a stumbling block, because they are not fully told, because they are told to just regulate us, not to advance. उतना एडवांसमेंट के लिए दूसरा इंस्ट्रक्शन चाहिए कि आप भैया 4 बार मत पियो, छोड़ दो पीना, दूध ही पियो केवल, वो भी मत पियो है, या उठना है तो भाई 4 बजे उठो, 3 बजे उठो और भक्ति होगा. बट उनको क्या बोला गया, अभी 6 नहीं तो 7 बजे उठो, एटलीस्ट उतने बजे उठो. सो देन ये 7 बजे उठना और 4 ये चाय पीना या हर्बल टी पीना, ये दोनों इंटरमीडिएट इंस्ट्रक्शंस है. इसको दे आर स्टम्बलिंग ब्लॉक टू द पाथ ऑफ सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन. ओके, एनीवन एल्स? क्वेश्चन है? नहीं? ठीक है, we'll end here. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Tomorrow again 2 to 4. हरे कृष्णा.